Often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome tonight to the Online Sim Racing Network as we go side by side with the PRL. Tonight is round number 2, Precision Racing League. That's Precision Racing League American Iracing Sunday Series, brought to you by the AMSOIL. And tonight we are racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and I am joined up in the booth by David Everly and a special guest as well, the 45 of Eddie Hawks from last season. How you doing tonight, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm not been able to race this season, so it's gonna be great to get up here and watch the race from up here and help you out.
Absolutely, man. It is great to have you. And how are you doing tonight, Dave?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Sean?
Oh, doing good too, thank you. Just ready to go back here to the PRL American Iracing Sunday Series, ladies and gentlemen. Season number 9, as all the drivers try to take it away from James O'Brien, last season's defending champion, but this season's, well, last season's champion, but this season's defending champion. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a recap from last week's race. That was the season opener at Texas Motor Speedway. In that race, we had Kevin Whitaker bring it home. He's a new driver. James O'Brien came out second. Brian Wayand came out third. Richard Regan Jr. came out fourth. Craig Hawkins came out fifth. Colton Lane came out sixth. Ian Lane came out seventh. Ken Caruthers eighth. Stephen Mattox ninth. And Danny Duchesne did round up the top 10. And also moving on to our current points standings, ladies and gentlemen. The current driver who's leading in points is Kevin Whitaker. Last week's winner at Texas. He is representing the Gen X Racing team. James O'Brien, defending champion, representing the Road Trip Racing team, same as last season. Brian L. Wayand, representing Gen X Racing, and his third place in points. And I do apologize if I mispronounce these names, but we're gonna get them right as usual before the season ends. Craig Hawkins came out fourth, representing the Old Schools Motorsports. We had the Richard L. Regan, Richard L. Regan Jr. came out fifth with Gen X Racing. So we have 3 Gen X drivers who finished in the top 5 last week at Texas. Great job to Gen X. Colton Lane came out sixth with Rim Riding Racing Team. Ian Lane 7th with GRG Racing. Stephen Mattox came out 8th with Rim Riding Racing. Ken Caruthers came out 9th. Ken Caruthers is 9th place in points with Breaking Point Racing. And Stephen Aguiar did round up the top 10 with the Gen X2 Racing Team. So in this case, we had 2 drivers with the Rim Riding Racing Team finish in the top 10, namely Colton Lane and Stephen Mattox. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to tonight's race here tonight for Bristol Motor Speedway. What are we dealing with tonight, Eddie?
Yep, sorry there. Yeah, I think most people is just going to be trying to stay out of trouble here in the beginning, and then I think once it gets toward the middle, toward the end of the race, you're going to see a little more beating and banging. But hopefully, we have a nice clean race.
Oh, absolutely, man. And these guys are running 14 to 15 second lap times, which means that's 2 laps every 30 seconds, and that's 4 laps every minute. So this race will go by pretty quickly. At the same time, with that much speed comes a lot more responsibility. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 92-degree Fahrenheit track temp, 83 degrees Fahrenheit air temperature, mostly cloudy, with winds from the northeast at 2 miles per hour in the afternoon. And so far, the drivers are currently qualifying, and the post sitter is the 51 of Joseph Yankans. That's 51 of Joseph Yankans. He's also an addition this season, season number 9, the PRL American Iracing Sunday Series. A lot of heavy hitters. Speaking of new drivers out there, I'm going to go over a couple of names. So Kevin Whitaker, last week's winner. We also have Richard Regan Jr. as well. He's one of the new additions. Joseph Yankans as well. Brendan Chatley. We have Michael Knight is back. We also have Joshua Witherspoon, Seth Silverio, Daniel Smallwood, Ian Lane. So those new drivers joining us this season is amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, please type it up in the chat. Get active. Let us know what's on your mind. And the grid is now ready, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, our post-hitter tonight is the 51 of Joseph Youngkins. We have the 15 of Christian Swenson starting right beside him in second place. The 5 of Kevin Whitaker, third. 9 of James O'Brien, fourth. 98 of Ian Lane, fifth. We have Craig Hawkins, sixth. Daniel Smallwood, seventh. Stephen Aguiar, eighth. Poe D. Johnson, 9th, and the 22 of Richard Regan Jr. In the 10th place position. 81 of South Silverio, 11th. Kyle Souza, 12th. Joshua Witherspoon, 13th. John LaBath, 14th. Michael Knight, 15th. Brandon Walter, 16th. Trevor White, 17th. Brendan Chatley, 18th. Rory Collins, 19th, and Brody Green in the 20th place spot. So far, rounding up the top 20. 95 of Jeffrey Ford, 21st. We have Josh Josh Bachman, 26th. That just got messed up, so I'll just go ahead and call out all the other drivers. So Josh Bachman, Brandon Massey, Dale Robertson, Chris Perez, Jerome Berthome, and Ronald McManus. But I do believe Jerome Berthome is staying up in the booth as usual, be in the tower, keeping these guys in check. So that gives us roughly about 23, 24 drivers starting tonight's race here at Bristol.
Yeah, one thing you need to watch here, when something happens, it happens quick. So if you're not looking ahead, you might get caught up in something. 3 or 4 drivers get caught up.
That's a very good point, man. You know, with this heavy banking and the narrow track, that is a recipe for disaster. And what would you say is the best way to go about this track, Eddie, from experience?
Well, running the high groove is the quickest. You carry a lot more momentum. You don't eat up as much tire, but it depends on how hard you want to push it. Most people, you don't want to push it that hard up in the beginning because with the tires go, you're pretty much junk. So I think they're just going to ride around for a little while, try to save a little bit, and then after the first couple pit stops, go.
Oh, most definitely, man. Very amazing situation, right? They just talked about. Yeah, these guys have to buy their time so they can be able to be successful for the end. But the pace car dips off here as we speak, and Joseph still holding pace speed. The green flag is out, and Joseph finds the loud pedal. 15 on the outside line. Swenson is challenging him, but he goes way wide, and Joseph is going to maintain first place here on lap number 1. This is round 2. Oh, quick caution on lap number 1. Oh, gotta back it up on replay and see what happened.
That looks like that's going to involve the 98 air of Ian Lane. Looked like he blinked out a little bit and then just kind of lost it and went up into the outside wall. So maybe a little bit of a connection issue on that one, but that caused a big checkup error.
Oh, yep. Yeah, that was definitely caused by connection. Oh, man, that actually caused quite the junk. Unfortunately, 41, Chris Perez got a piece of the action, looks like, including the observed Kyle Souza, who got the worst end of that deal. Heavy damage on the front end and the rear end. We also had 59 of Brandon Chatley, including the 20 of Brody Green, who went nose first into the outside wall. Oh, that's a rough start for a lot of these drivers. And ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, no quick fixes, no fast repairs, no backup cars. So hopefully these guys can still stay in it to win it.
Yeah, it looked like poor Brandon Massey couldn't get stopped. I don't know if he goes through or not, but he hit him pretty hard.
Oh, absolutely, man. But the good thing about this, Eddie, is, despite the damage they might have, this track is not all about those aerodynamics, because they do have that banking to help these things rotate.
Yeah, the aero's not so much. It's more mechanical grip, but when you get your front end tore up, it's always an overheating issue that you got to worry about.
Oh, yep, I actually forgot about that. Yes, with that overheating, ladies and gentlemen, with the front end damage, that does restrict the airflow to the motor, which means within a couple of laps, a lot of drivers start seeing those temperatures go up, namely the water temps for the most part as well. And from there on, if they do not get those temps in check, some heavy black smoke comes out from the rear end with a big loud boom, and the night is over for that driver.
Yeah, normally you got to pit and take pretty much all the tape you got on, if you got any on. Take everything off and see how it goes.
That's one good thing about this too. Yeah, being open setups also for the new viewers out there who might not know this. They do run open setups here with the PRL American iRacing Sunday series, brought to you by Arms Oil, the first in synthetics, specializing in synthetic lubricants for vehicles and equipment. So check them out at Arms Oil. That's AMSOil.com. Before we talk about those open setups, we are 1 to green, going green this time around. The leader, 51 of Joseph, deciding to start on the outside line. On the inside is 15 of Christian Swenson. Pace car dips off, going again this time. Joseph finds the gas pedal, gets a great restart against Christian Swenson, and maintains the race lead. Directly goes all the way up high to get the momentum that Eddie talked about there early on in the race. The 5 of Kevin Whitaker on the outside behind 15, but is inside occupied by the 88 of Daniel Smallwood. And just as Eddie had talked about there early on, the outside line is a preferred race groove for all of these drivers. Everybody on the inside seems to be falling short, like the 9 of James O'Brien against 88 of Smallwood 2 laps back. Was on his inside, but ended up falling short as a result of being on the inside. And as we saw at the 23 of Hawkins trying to go against the 9 of O'Brien, but the caution flies. Gonna see what happened.
You know, unfortunately, that's going to involve the 81 of Seth Silverio. He had the 14 of Paul D. Johnson right behind him. Looks like it just kind of kicked loose there a little as he come through the turn here. Let's try a different angle. As he was trying to go underneath the 8 machine. And, Paul D. Johnson may have just given him a little bump there, unable to get slowed down when the 81 slowed down. So, might be a little bump there, but Paul D. Johnson hit him hard in the side, so he's got a little bit of that front end damage that Eddie was talking about.
Oh man, that's very unfortunate for both drivers involved, Seth Silverio and the Paul D. Johnson in the 14 machine. And speaking of that, Seth Silverio was a little bit loose entering that turn, and as a result lost all his speed momentum, lost enough of it, that the difference was great between himself and the oncoming traffic, namely 14 of Paul D. Johnson, causing the incident, the big pileup. But great job for their drivers out there, minimizing the damage the most that they could, because that could have been worse.
Yeah, it looked like Paul. He let off. He didn't quite get him when he got loose, but he just couldn't get out of his way. So, but did the best he could there.
Yeah, and after that too, Paul D. Johnson on pit road, including Seth Silverio. Actually, Paul just left pit road as we spoke, but Seth Silverio, actually, he just left too. So they got a few seconds of damage repaired, but those machines have seen better days. And, actually, Eddie, I'm surprised. I mean, I should say, by the end of tonight's race, I do not expect to see a single machine without damage.
No, I don't either. Yeah, I'm looking at Paul's nose. He's got quite a bit of damage up from the front. It looks like the 99, I think, has got some nose damage too.
Oh, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, we see some viewers out there in the chat, so please type it up. We have Tango Jamo. Did you say Michael Knight, the Knight Rider? Yep, that's him. He's racing tonight. Welcome, Tango Jams. Good to see you. Sorry, Tango Jamo, and also Cowboy Customs. Welcome, Cowboy Customs, to the Online Sim Racing Network. Hope you're doing well tonight. Yep, definitely a very, very rough start for some of these drivers so far, Eddie, but hopefully it gets better for them.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the field here, and I think half of them's got damage already. Drum's got quite a bit of damage in the rear. 00, Kyle's got a little damage. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be many out here that don't have a straight fender on them by the end.
Absolutely, man. They do say rubbing is racing. Yeah, a lot more damage to come, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We've not even gotten close to seeing the big junk yet. Hopefully we keep it that way. We are now back 1 to green. Daniel Smallwood, the new leader, in the lead with the help of 23 of Craig Hawkins on the inside. Outside line being led by James O'Brien with the help of the 911 of John LaBeouf. John LaBeouf new to the top 10, including Brandon Massey, Chris Perez, Ron McManus, Jerome Bethome as well, new to the top 10 here as we speak. We are going green.
Yeah, these guys must have stayed out and everybody else pitted.
And that green flag flies here as we spoke. 23 of Hawkins to the inside of 9 of James O'Brien. He's able to edge him out of the exit of turn number 3. Or turn number 2. Gotta get these turns right. For the back in the pack, Chris Perez on the outside. Got overtaken by 22 that's 22 of Richard Regan Jr. And now we have Chris Perez trying to hold off another threat. 22 of Swenson, who taps the wall on the exit. And one thing about this track, Eddie, is that it goes so quickly, basically 14 to 15 second lap times. If you ride for too long, you are going a lap down before too long.
Yeah, it don't take long at all to get a lap down, especially if you got old tires and somebody pitted.
Oh yeah, with that said, yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. The pit strategy is going to be very important, but the caution flies again. Gonna see what happened.
That is going to involve the 5 machine, or 78 of Ronald McManus, and the 5 machine is Ronald McManus was running on the outside there. Little tap from the left side quarter panel of the 5 machine sent the 78 around, and he went hard into that inside wall there. So he has got some heavy damage if he hasn't blown that engine, but looked like most of the damage to the back of the machine, so he should be good on that aspect.
Oh, absolutely, man, and very unfortunate for both drivers, 78 of Ron McManus and the 5 of Kevin Whitaker. But going back up front, we are now being led by the 9 of James O'Brien, 88 of Smallwood in second place, Richard Regan Jr. in third, Craig Hawkins fourth, and Joseph Yankins in the 5th place spot, rounding up the top 5. And we have a lucky dog. That is the 79 of Joshua Witherspoon. That's Joshua Witherspoon.
But I don't think James and those guys up front's actually pitted yet.
Ooh, we have very, very good point. Yes, they have stayed out this far. I'll pull up my stats real quick.
But you got to number 5. It's already pitted once with new tires, so I think they'll be coming pretty quick. Yeah, it looks like the 88 to 23 pitted. So yeah, James still out there on the old stuff, I believe.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yep, him being the only one staying out. Actually, 2 drivers. So James O'Brien and Brandon Massey, the only 2 drivers who have stayed out this far. But everybody else has been on pit road at least once this far.
Well, track position's key here, so I can see why they're not going to pit yet until they think everybody else is going to pit with them.
Almost different, and everybody as well trying to get up there and lead a couple of laps in tonight's race. Actually, maybe trying to. Actually, this might be a way to go too. The track position game there, Eddie. Maybe being up front might be the way to go in the sense that they'll be able to avoid anything that might come their way.
Oh, exactly. That's the only reason they're doing it. It's just to stay up front, track position.
Indeed, as we are now back 1 to green, James O'Brien on the outside. is inside occupied by 22 of Richard Regan Jr. We are going green. Everybody now going down to second gear and scrubbing those tires to avoid the very, very deadly wheel spin.
Yeah, especially on old tires, it's easy to spin the wheels.
And I just say that here we have James O'Brien get around the 22 of Richard Regan, and he maintains the first place spot, but Regan's the inside. But off turn number 2, he was able to edge him out. And here as we speak, we have Richard being challenged by the 15 of Whitaker, who gets a run successfully. Actually, scratch that. That was the 15 of Christian Swenson.
Yeah, it's good to see Stephen Aguilar back in the league too, number 8. He's always been a really good driver and a really fast driver, and he's part of Gen X Racing now, so it's good to see Gen X back in the league too.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yep, and so far, Stephen Aguilar in between 88 of Smallwood and 64 of Michael Knight. Oh, we have a spinner off the exit of turn 4. That was, I believe, I'm trying to get a number 15 of Swenson off the track.
And let's go back here to the replay and see if we can see what happened to the 15 here. As he was riding right behind the 9 of James O'Brien coming into the turn. The back end just kicked loose on him, and he got sideways and down to the inside just enough to bring out our 4th caution here tonight. No other cars involved, no damage, just the back end kicked out on him.
Yeah, it looks like he just got to lose. He did a good job saving it, though. He didn't hit nothing.
Absolutely, man. Keeps that machine clean. And the machine lives to fight another for a couple of more laps. For the rest of the race in this case, hopefully.
They got these cars set basically on the very edge. I'm sure they're going to start them out loose as they can, start out at, because they will tighten up during the race. So when it's early like that, you got to watch it. Don't take much.
Yeah, absolutely. And besides, they do say loose is fast.
Yeah, especially here. Once you get tight, you got to let off way early going in the corner.
Looking at these stats so far, so James O'Brien went down pit road for his first pit stop of the evening, but 22 of Richard Regan decides to stay out and takes over the race lead, or in this case takes back the race lead on lap 30. With now second place driver 51 of Youngkins, who was tonight's post-sitter, the 5 of Kevin Whitaker 3rd, Daniel Smallwood 4th, and Stephen Aguilar in the 5th place spot. And so far we have 2 new drivers, actually scratch that, 3 more drivers new to the top 10, namely Trevor White from 17th to 7th, Brendan Chatley from 18th to 8th, and Rory Collins from 19th to 10th.
Yeah, that puts 4 of the top 5 Gen X drivers. So I think they'll try to get single file and just try to ride around if they can, instead of trying to race each other. 88's doing a good job hanging with them, though.
Oh, indeed, and this goes very well. It works very well for the team championship, ladies and gentlemen. They do have a team championship here with the PRL American Iracing Sunday series. So, for example, like Eddie talked about with the Gen X drivers up there, the closer together they finish, and the higher they do finish, the better it goes for them in the points standings. And here, as we go green, we are gonna go over the new teams. And we are now back 1 to green, being led by Richard Regan, who decided to start on the outside with the help of Daniel Smallwood. The inside being occupied by 51 of Youngkins with the help of the 5 of Kevin Whitaker.
Yeah, I'm looking at Craig Hawkins, too. He's been doing a pretty good job tonight, too. He seems to be pretty quick.
Oh, yep, Craig Hawkins, an amazing driver, man, from last season. Do not count him out tonight at all. He is a fast driver indeed.
Good to see Rory Collins up in there too.
Yes, that green flag flies, but up front here, Richard Regan gets a commanding restart against 51 of Yankins, who's being challenged by the 88 of Smallwood. Smallwood has the upper hand here on the outside, and here, big boom on the outside. No harm done. Looks like we are still green flag racing. I do believe that was Kevin Whitaker smacking the wall. As a result, Kevin sustained some right front damage on the machine, but no harm done. He is still rolling.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of that tonight, especially going into two.
And the good
The closer you
thing,
get to the wall, the quicker you are.
absolutely, but that does come at a price, a costly price. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for that. A lot of machines getting new paint jobs by the end of tonight's race. 59 so far of Brandon Chatley trying to hold off the 21 of Trevor White. So far, these two drivers just pretty much riding, trying to buy their time. Both drivers having different race groups, I've noticed. We have Chatley who's going all the way up high, while White is staying in a groove lower than him, but so far they're still being able to stay consistent. Well, it's not quite. Here on the exit of the turn, 14 of Johnson gets around Trevor White. Trevor is trying to do the crossover move, but not enough to make it stick.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's pretty much single filing right now. Try to get some laps logged in.
And the good thing about this, they'll be able to pretty much get a feel for the track, get a feel for how the machine is handling as the track state changes with every single lap. Like you talked about, a lot of these drivers very loose in the beginning, but then the machines will end up tightening up as they have been set up. So a lot of long run drivers will end up propelling in the long run.
Yeah, and it all depends on how much you can save in the beginning too. Good setup, you can push it some, but you want to save it if you're going to have a long run.
Oh, yeah, very good point. We always have a saying up here in the online sim racing booth. You can either choose to save now and overtake later, or you can choose to overtake now and lose later. I probably messed that saying up. But yeah, here Trevor White so far getting overtaken by the 9 of James O'Brien. James O'Brien on fresher stickers than Trevor White, and taking advantage of that the most that he can.
Yeah, it looks like the top 6 is kind of running away with it a little bit. Just in single file. Paul Johnson's blinking a little bit. Like James O'Brien starting to make his way up to the traffic now with his new tires.
Yep, the Brandon so far. Oh. Actually, just noticed that we've lost a couple of drivers. Brandon Massey, Brody Green, and Josh Bachman. Unfortunately, a very, very rough start for those drivers there early on in tonight's race. But we look forward to seeing them back again next week for Richmond International Raceway. And for the back in the pack, we have the 23 of Craig Hawkins following the 5 of Whitaker. Actually, that's up front. And we have 51 overtaking the 22 of Swenson. That is, yeah, it's actually 22 of Regan and 51 of Joseph Yankins.
Yeah, it looks like old Daniel, he's pulled out, started to build up a little lead here. The word nose to tail, but he seems to be pulling away a little bit.
Absolutely, and there's your Smallwood here So far, you know, at this point, he has some right side damage on the machine, but so far he's doing well. Despite that, he also has one driver inside, going to be going a lap down before too long. That's 78 of Ron McManus if he gets around him here. And Ron McManus here, speaking of him, he's the one who got, he had some bad luck where his back end got really damaged on the front stretch. But as we speak, he's making the best out of the damage in the 22nd place spot behind 95 of Jeffrey.
Yeah, it looks like Stephen Aguilar's up in the top 5 now. He seems to be rolling pretty good.
Yep, Steven Aguiar just buying his time. At the same time, is not too slow, not too fast. He's taking while he can. He's not forcing any matters. He is trying to survive.
Yeah, he's always been a good patient driver.
As you see right now, they're trying to pretty much mess with 22 of Regan. But Regan off the exit of the turn gets the slingshot with the outside lane advantage. And Steven Aguiar still trying to play mind games, trying to set up 22. But Regan is not falling for it.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a good battle for the lead, too. They've caught Daniel. And just about to pass him here a couple times.
And they're both catching up to a lapped machine. That is 78 of Ronald McManus. Oh man, this just might work against Smallwood, or it might work with Smallwood, but against 51 of Yankins. Let's see what happens.
Got to look inside. 3 wide, go into 1. Oh, they make it.
Oh, man, 3 wide right down the middle. Amazing job by the drivers. But 88 of Smallwood is able to edge out the 51 of Yankins. Well, I speak too soon off the exit of turn number 2. They're still going at it side by side. Actually, that was turn number 4, turn 1. They're still going at it. No one's giving up.
Yeah, they caught a little slower car death before. He did good. He just got up out of the way. Didn't rim the race, which is nice.
Yeah, great sportsmanship by those lapped machines, getting out of the way of the faster traffic. And as we speak, 51 of Yankins edges out 88 of Smallwood. They almost make some contact off the exit of turn 4. Yankins gets around Smallwood. Oh, they almost make contact. Whoa, that was bad. Actually, looks like Yankins got a little bit squirrely with some bad netcode contact.
Definitely tight racing up there. It's great racing, too. Good to see nice side-by-side racing.
Yep, but as good as that might look, Eddie, it's bad for the tires.
Bad for the nerves, too. Oh, you got to spin. James O'Brien, spin it in. Make contact with somebody. Looks like he kept going, no caution.
Yep, we are still rolling, yes, but James O'Brien sustaining some heavy damage on that machine. Oh, but the caution flies this time around.
Now. Yep, we got 2 to the track.
Well, this caution was brought out by the 15 and the 78 of Ronald McManus here. As I'm looking at the replay, it looked like a little 3 wide. 15 got into the 79. Ronald McManus collected in that. I think there was some other cars. Let's try a different angle here. As we go blimp view, it was almost 4 wide, so that was like a recipe for disaster. 35, Rory Collins got in through that, so that's going to shake his field up just a little bit more here.
Oh, man. Yep, that was quite the chain reaction. And very unfortunate for every single driver involved in that one. Yes, a pit road is going to be a very busy place. And hopefully the drivers are able to still stay competitive despite that.
Yeah, it looks like all the lead lap cars went ahead and pitted.
Yep, and the race off pit road is going to be won by 51 of Joseph Yankins, able to maintain that race lead. Great job to the 51 machine. Oil paint, very well dressed machine. A lot of well dressed machines out there, to say the least. 95 of Jeffrey Ford, currently in the 12th place spot. Jeffrey tonight has kept a low profile, amazing driver as well. It's great to see him back this season with the PRL American Iracing Sunday series as he goes down pit road.
Yeah, we saw some really good racing, good side-by-side racing. Slower traffic, creating the 3 or 4 wides is kind of what kind of bottled everything up.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it just goes to show how difficult it is for the drivers out there, for the leaders, especially in this case, when they have to deal with that much traffic. Also, it's overwhelming too for the laps traffic, because the track is very narrow and there's only a limited amount of space, basically nowhere to go. So it makes it extra difficult, as you saw right there when the 2 leaders up front caught the that was Daniel Smallwood, and 51 of Joseph Yankins caught the 78 of Ron McManus. He got squirrely because he didn't know where to go, and they went to his low side and his high side and putting him in the middle.
Yeah, it looks like James O'Brien might be fixing some damage too. He came back in the pits again.
Oh, yep, James O'Brien definitely getting some damage fixed on that machine. But the good thing about James is he has a very clean front end, not a single scratch on the front, but the back has done a lot has taken a lot of punishment, if you will. And as we speak, James just rolled off pit road in the 12th or 13th place position. And this far, with 67 laps in, we have 16 drivers on the lead lap. That's 16 drivers on the lead lap, with one or more laps down. We have John LaBeouf, first driver, 1 lap down. Trevor White, second driver, 1 lap down. Then we have Christian Swenson and Rory Collins, including Ron McManus, all 3 laps down.
Yeah, it looks like John and Trevor got their lap back. They just got a wave around. So back on the lead lap.
And that gives us 18 drivers on the lead lap. Great job to those drivers. The green flag is out. And 51 of Joseph finds the gas pedal. The 5 of Whitaker is able to maintain second place against the 8 of Stephen Aguiar. So far, Stephen Aguiar got overtaken by the 88 of Smallwood and now the 81 of Seth Silverio. You know, Eddie, we talked about Stephen Aguiar is a patient driver, just buying his time. So far, just letting everybody by.
Yeah, that's Steve. He won't race you hard in the beginning. He'll let you use your stuff up, and then he'll wave at you when he goes by you about 15 laps.
Yeah, very great driving on his part. Great strategy. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the drivers can either choose to gain now and lose later, or they can choose to lose now and gain later. In the case of Stephen Aguiar, choosing to lose now so he can be able to gain later. And those drivers.
A good example of the 88 is Daniel Smallwood. He's really fast on the get-go, but after about 30 laps, it looked like they pulled him back in. Actually, we got Rob McManus getting in the way.
Oh, man, yeah, that's very overwhelming for Ron McManus, man. He was
in the front stretch.
He was coming up to him at a very fast rate, but nice driving by all the drivers. But the caution flies this time around.
Oh, we see what happened. Looks like the 22s.
Actually, it's going to be the 81. It's going to start with the 81 there of Seth Silverio. So we go back and take a look at it. Yeah, the back end looks like some of these setups, man, that back end just keeps kicking around there. As he was just riding that high lane there, and that back end just came around, but he did a good job. He got it down off the track. Everybody was able to get around him. Didn't hit anything. Nobody hit him. So that's good driving there by the 81.
Yeah, my apologies there. I was looking backwards. Yeah, the thing is, if you're coming off the corner and you give it gas and you still got a lot of wheel in it, it will come around on you every time. If you don't have that wheel pointed straight off the corner, you'll spin out no matter how good your setup is.
Absolutely, man. And that was definitely unfortunate for Seth Silverio. He made his way to the front because early on he got involved in an incident that sent him to the back of the pack, but he finally made his way back into the top 10, top 5. But then that had to happen, and now he's being currently shown in the 10th place spot behind James O'Brien and ahead of 64 of Michael Knight.
Well, this is going to shuffle up the field. Some pitted, some didn't. The fast cars pitted. So it's going to be interesting. That's what makes Bristol fun. Everybody gets on different pit strategies.
Yeah, and speaking of those pit strategies, the drivers who stayed out, we actually only have, let's see, we only have five drivers who stayed out, namely Daniel Smallwood, Craig Hawkins, Chris Perez, and Paul D. Johnson, including the 911 of, actually scratch out the 64 of Michael Knight. Nope, that's 911 of John LaBeouf. So these 5 drivers stayed out under this caution, while everybody else did pit in. So once it comes down to it, the top 4 drivers here up front having 13 laps on their tires this far, or 13 laps since their last pit stops. And the 5th place driver, Joseph Yankins, being the first driver behind them to be on fresh stickers here as we speak. So we have Seth Silverio, Kevin Whitaker. Oh, that just changed. So we have Kevin Whitaker, Richard Regan Jr., Stephen Aguiar, Michael Knight, and John LaBeouf rounding up the top 10, actually from 6th place to 10th place.
Yeah, I just put it out there. The PRL has a Wednesday night league that we race the trucks. That's a fixed setup. And just to give an example of good racing we had. We only had 1 caution at 135 lap at Martinsville, and we only had 3 cautions at Bristol Wednesday night at 135 lap. And a lot of those guys that race Wednesday also race here on Sunday.
Oh, and check them out, ladies and gentlemen, PrecisionRacingLeague.com. They have a lot to offer, Oval Series and Road Series, almost every single day of the week. That's PrecisionRacingLeague.com. As we are ready to go back, green flag racing being led by Daniel Smallwood with the help of 41 of Perez. Outside line being led by 23 of Craig Hawkins with the help of Paul D. Johnson.
Yeah, and Craig and Daniel, they like to get out the gate quick, so there should be some good side-by-side with them 2 starting it off.
Yep, and the side-by-side is already occurring as we speak. The green flag is out, but Smallwood able to edge out Craig Hawkins entering turn 1 off the exit of turn 2. Smallwood maintains the lead as Craig Hawkins as well as maintains 2nd place so far against 41 of Chris Perez. Perez overtaken by 51 of Joseph Yankins. Joseph means business here tonight as 41 of Perez smacks the wall high there in between turns number 3 and 4. Yeah, actually 1 and 2. And now the inside line here we have Paul D. Johnson, who was trying to get around the 41 of Perez, but fell short.
Yeah, Chris is on those tires, so I think probably it's 2. You should see the 22 and the 8. And them guys start taking positions away here short. Ooh, Coscuza got a little loose, but he saved it. Still going.
Oh, yep, nice save by the driver, still green flag racing. And yeah, man, Chris sustained some heavy right side damage after that heavy impact between his machine and the wall. So far he's trying to play catch up in between the 81 of Seth Silverio and 64 of Michael Knight, and Silverio gets around the 8 of Stephen Aguiar. Aguiar is still maintaining his exact same strategy of letting everybody by for now.
Yeah, everybody's giving everybody a little bit of room right now. For 85 laps into 250 laps. They've got quite a bit of ways to go.
Indeed, at this point, they have realized that there's a lot less room for error than they might have imagined. So far, just trying to keep the machines still running so they can be able to see the end of this race here tonight, round number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this race is brought to you by AMS Oil. That's AMSOil.com, specializing in synthetic lubricants for vehicles and equipment. So check them out at AMSOil.com.
Yeah, it looks like the top 7's kind of broke off to a little bit of lead. Daniel's still got quite a bit of lead over Craig, but after about 20 laps, they'll start probably equaling out.
Yeah, you also said it there early on there, Eddie, your observation of the 88 of Daniel Smallwood. Daniel Smallwood, who was pushing it there early on, but then in the long run, he decided, about 10 laps on his tires, he ended up falling a little bit short. So maybe he might have changed that strategy, or maybe not. We are about to find out before too long. But in second place, the position change. That's position change between Hawkins and Yankins, as Hawkins lost that spot.
Yeah, he's still pushing it pretty hard there in the beginning. Be curious to see how long, if he's got a short run car, or if he can maintain it.
And the third place battle goes on between 5 of Whitaker and Craig Hawkins. And Hawkins ends up falling short, just drops down to the 4th place spot. So he lost 2 spots in 2 laps. And as we speak, his inside is occupied by the 22 of Richard Regan. So Craig Hawkins is having it rough as we speak.
Yeah, the 5 and 22 pitted on that last caution. So I think you might see those two start running down the leaders. Craig stayed out, and Paul stayed out.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up right there, Eddie, because Craig Hawkins has 10 laps more on his tires compared to the 22 of Regan, including the 5 of Whitaker. So, yep, just like you talked about, the tires very, very important. Without those tires, you are nothing.
It looks like they're already starting to pull back 88 a little bit. So he might have took off a little too quick.
Yeah, looking at it right now as well, Smallwood on the same strategy as Craig Hawkins, which means Smallwood as well has 10 laps more on his tires compared to Joseph Yankins, Kevin Whitaker, and Richard Regan Jr. Oh man, and now he is getting run down. Oh, he's actually on his back bumper as we speak. So Smallwood is trying to defend that spot, but not quite. They're gonna go side by side, entering turn 1.
Yeah, Joseph getting off the corner way better. Like he might have got him there, but yeah, he's just getting off the corner so much better.
Yeah, he got around Smallwood and now leaves some room for Whitaker to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, if it's this new tire build when they came out in this last update, you can abuse your tires pretty quick, and they fall off a lot.
Oh, yeah, that leaves all the driving up to the drivers, ladies and gentlemen. That makes it extra difficult for them. Basically, the drivers who save will become the faster ones, will be the ones who survive. And I should admit, Eddie, last week I was not able to be here at Texas for the season opener. But Joseph Yankins means business from seeing him this first couple of laps, 101 laps in. So it looks like James O'Brien might have someone to fight against.
There's at least a dozen drivers in here that's got a chance for a driver championship this year. We brought on a lot of new drivers, a lot of good drivers. So that's why it's going to be a great season.
Absolutely, yep. Joseph Yankins, Kevin Whitaker, Daniel Smallwood, Richard Regan Jr., Joshua Witherspoon, Seth Silverio. All these drivers, ladies and gentlemen, in new competition, including the 59 of Brandon Chatley. So we're going to be seeing a lot. We're going to be seeing exactly what these drivers have in store for us. But so far, it's looking quite well. It's looking good. And we always talk about it. I was going to say, we always talk about it there, Eddie. Season after season, that's season after season, the competition gets nothing but stronger. That's right. The competition gets nothing but stronger with every single season, which means everybody has to work extra harder.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not so much just driver too, but if you don't have a good setup under your car, you don't care how good you are, you're not going to be able to compete. So most of these guys spend a lot of hours setting up their cars team-wise or individually-wise to make them go fast. That's what makes our series stand out compared to a lot of them. It takes time and effort.
Absolutely, and that definitely shows how with every single week with the drivers from previous seasons, last season more specifically, and also speaking of these teams, ladies and gentlemen, this season, how the drivers would have, there's a maximum team size is now 4 with a minimum of 2. And so far, the teams that we have include Old Schools Motorsports. That's Old Schools Motorsports, featuring Craig Hawkins, Daniel Smallwood, and Sean Dower. We also have a new team, No Fear Racing. Not a new team, but it's existed. That's No Fear Racing, John LaBeouf and Trevor White, including Brody Green. So far, it's 2 3-man teams. The third team is Road Trip Racing, back again this season. Paul G. Johnson, James O'Brien, David Dreckman, and Brandon Walter in Road Trip Racing. We have Ironic Sim Racing as well, is back this season. That's Ironic Sim Racing, has Ronald McManus, Chris Perez, Jerome Berthome, and Jerome Berthome Racing back again with us this season after staying out, I should say, staying in the tower last season, keeping everybody in check. The next team is Breaking Point Racing. Breaking Point Racing is a new team this season, featuring Brandon Massey and Ken Caruthers as a 2-man team this far. We have Gen X Racing back this season. Gen X Racing has Kevin Whitaker, Brian Wayand, Richard Regan, and Christian Swenson. That's Christian Swenson, Richard Regan, Brian Wayand, and Kevin Whitaker as a 4-man team. Gen X Racing 2. This team name might change, but it's Gen X Racing. Gen X 2 has Steven Aguiar, Seth Silverio, and Joseph Yankins. So this has 2 new drivers. Oh, the caution flies this time around. I'm gonna back it up. Oh, go ahead. Who was involved?
Coming out of number 4, looks like
There was contact between the 81 and the 23. Stephen Aguiar, little side damage. James O'Brien involved. The 64 machine, he also gets involved. The Michael Knight. So go take another look here from above from the blimp. But just racing hard there between the 81 and Craig Hawkins. And they just slightly make contact. Craig Hawkins up into the outside wall. 81 spinning out around. Unfortunately, James O'Brien and Michael Knight being involved in that.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
Was some good green flag run there.
Absolutely, and man, I should admit, Eddie, Seth is having a rough night tonight. This is the third incident that he's been caught up in. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, some nights it's not your night.
Yeah, but the good thing is he's still going. He's still keeping his head high and his foot down planted. And yeah, like you talked about, going back to the last long run we just had right there. Everybody was able to get a feel for the track and the machines changing handling with every single lap. Up front here, we are being led by 51 of Joseph Yankins, who did pit in. We have Kevin Whitaker 2nd, Richard Regan 3rd, Daniel Smallwood 4th, and Brandon Chatley in the 5th place spot.
Yeah, we still got quite a few on the lead lap, for as quick as they've been running.
Yep, 14 drivers on the lead lap, and last time we checked was last caution. We had 18 drivers on the lead lap, but that's down to 14. But hopefully they'll be able to get some of those laps back. And one thing about this track, Eddie, as difficult as it is, it's also very difficult to get your laps back at the same time.
Yeah, it's really hard to get your lap. The only way you really get a lap back is a lucky dog here. There's just no other way to get it back or to wave around. And if you take a wave around, you're staying out on old tires, so you're going to go lap down again. But that's just the way it is here.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it makes it extra difficult for these drivers. So with that said, they do exercise a lot of extreme caution so they can be able to not fall victim to those scenarios. And a driver disconnecting again here, 23 of Craig Hawkins retiring, unfortunately. We look forward to seeing this driver back next week for Richmond.
Yeah, so far we've had some really good, nice, hard racing, clean racing.
And with this clean racing too, we're seeing a lot of new faces in the top 10, top 15. We have Brandon Walter. Actually, let's go back to Chris Perez. Chris Perez from 23rd to 8th this far, and Brandon Walter from 16th to 9th. I haven't spoken much of Brandon, if any, tonight, but he's an amazing driver as well. Back again for season number 9. Great to have him back. We also have Brandon Chatley in the 13th place spot after starting in the 18th place position. So a lot of drivers moving up as the race progresses. We are now back 1 to green, side by side, being led by Joseph Yankins and Kevin Whitaker.
And he's taking the outside.
Yes, that green flag flies and Yankins finds the gas pedal. But we had some very, very bad wheel spin on a driver. That was 22 of Richard Regan. Almost lost the machine, but was able to save it. Oh, man, he cuts off number 0 of Souza.
Slight contact, yeah.
Yeah, slight contact between the two drivers. But Souza backs off. He's going to try and charge again. And Souza is back, is new to the top 5 this far with 121 laps into tonight's race. It is great to see Souza back this season as well. Had a rough season last season, but he's back.
Yeah, he's had a nice recovery after having, losing it, happened to go down on the apron. He's still running up here in top 5.
Yep, oh, he gets loose of the exit of turn 4. Almost gets down into the 79 of Witherspoon, but he saved it. Oh, man, that could have been ugly.
Yeah, normally everybody's a little loose here in the start. They try to take it a little easy. Takes about 10 laps, really, for these cars to come in.
Yep, and Souza is still loose here as we speak and is being able to save it with the help of the throttle control. And 79 of Witherspoon is not backing off, and neither is Souza. But off the exit of turn 4, Souza maintains the 5th place spot against him.
Yeah, it's almost like they're just going to get in single file and run around for a little bit. Looks like the 88's going to try to save a little bit this run here. He didn't seem to be wanting to go out and grab the lead.
Yep, that Wrangler paint scheme, very, very well dressed Silverado behind Yankins and ahead of 22 of Richard Regan Jr. Yeah, Joseph has shown to be a fast driver in the long run, same as the 5 of Kevin Whitaker. But Dennis Modo was having some difficulties. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit the halfway mark, 128 laps in and 123 laps to go. Well, first commercial break coming up, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the AMS Oil American Iracing Sunday series by the Precision Racing League. That's Precision Racing League. And check out AMS Oil. They do specialize in synthetic lubricants for vehicles and equipment. They're first in synthetics. That is AMSOil.com. This is season number 9 and round number 2 of the American iRacing Sunday series with PRL Precision Racing League.com. And going back to the race, we are under caution. This caution was a self-spin, a one-car incident. The 21 of Trevor White lost it off the exit of turn number 4 after making contact with the wall, unfortunately, which sent him to the inside wall on the front stretch and giving us a caution, and himself a lot of heavy damage, unfortunately. And as we speak, Trevor White is on pit road getting that damage fixed. So hopefully his machine will be back to life before too long so he can be able to put down some more laps. But going back up front, we are back 1 to green and a new race leader, 00 of Kyle Souza.
Yeah, it looks like we still got 15 cars on the lead lap. Not bad for 140 laps in.
Yep, and a lot of damaged machines as well to go with it. And the leader as well has some damage on the machine, like we talked about there early on. Some left rear damage on that Ford. And also the front end too has a couple of scratches, but the pace car dipping off, going green. The green flag is out, and Souza did not get a good restart as 22 of Regan gets around him and gets the racing away from him. At the same time, a free lunch program by the 51 of Yankins. That's a bad restart for the 00 of Souza there, Eddie.
Yeah, he probably spun his tires. It's so easy to spin your tires here. I don't know if he stayed out on old tires or if he pitted. But if you got old tires, you got to really be careful.
Whoop, yes, he actually stayed out. Just noticed that too. I'm glad you talked about that. He has 29 laps since his last pit stop, while the other drivers have 7 laps since their last pit stop. That's a very, very big difference on tires. So
yeah,
as
that's
we
a lot
speak,
of big difference. Yeah, he's gonna get ate up pretty quick.
Yeah, for him it's getting worse before it gets better. And so far, he's settled in the 8th place spot from the race lead. Actually just went down to the 9th place spot.
Yeah, looks like he's going to lose that to John LeBath.
Oh, going back up front, Smallwood gets sideways off the exit of turn number 4, but saves it. Oh, speed or momentum lost. Holy crap, yeah, that was a save and a half.
Yeah, he's trying to take that low line there, and it's kind of hard to hold it down there, but his car's probably a little too loose, so that'll actually tighten him up a little bit.
And I should ask, Eddie, I personally have never raced at this track in a while, especially with these machines. Does the low line ever come into play?
Like I said, right now his car is probably a little loose, so it might help him a little bit. But most likely, the low line's only there to pass if you need to.
Oh, Cappy, that makes sense. Yep, so preferred race groove outside line all the way. And as we speak here, Daniel Smallwood still trying to make a move against 51 of Yankins as he gets sideways off the exit of turn 4. And still side by side with Yankins, but off turn number 2, Yankins gets around him and clears him successfully.
Yeah, and one thing about the low line too is you're going into corners so much quicker that your tire wear is probably a good 20-30% more than if you're running the high line. So you'll wear your tires out pretty quick running that bottom groove. But if your car is really loose, you might have to go down there.
And for the back in the pack, we have the 41 of Chris Perez just overtook the 59 of Brandon Chatley. Chatley so far, so both Chatley and 41 of Perez have some heavy damage. In this case, Chatley having the worst end of that damage, or more damage than Perez, but still going nice and strong despite that, and trying to play catch up against those leaders. And so far we have the 81 of Seth Silverio. Seth Silverio is still in it to win it, and the last driver on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's had a rough night, but he's been hanging in there.
Yep, and that does not go unnoticed, so hopefully before the race is over, he's able to gain all those spots back, or at least most of those spots back. Even though the machine is a little bit on the slower side of things due to the increased damage on the front end, the rear end, the left side, and the right side.
Yeah, we still have 93 laps to go. As long as you can keep going, that means you've always got a chance to get a top 10 at this track.
Yep, and also we have not yet seen the big junk, so if that big junk does end up occurring, hopefully it does not, but if it does end up occurring, and drivers like Seth Silverio and Kyle Souza are stay clear of it, they might be able to finish in the top 5, top 10 like talked about.
Yep, that's why a lot of people are starting to back and just right around and try to avoid the incidents, until later in the race. But I think it's always better just to run up front. It seems like the wrecks are normally around the middle anyway.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And here as we speak, 64 of Michael Knight. Michael Knight trying to get around 14 of Johnson and the 59 of Brandon Chatley. Actually, Michael Knight is riding. Oh, contact 911 on the buff is sideways on the front stretch. He gets spun out. The caution flies.
Yeah, it was a good little battle for second.
We're going to take a look here at the 911 as there was contact between the 911 and the 41 of Chris Perez as Chris Perez tries to go down underneath of him and just barely bumps that left rear quarter panel that sent the 911 around there. And that is our 9th caution here tonight with 89 laps to go.
Yeah, it don't take much. If you get a little tap on that left rear with the car's already loaded in the corner, there's no saving it, usually.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was a bad deal for 911 of John LaBath, getting some rear damage and most importantly, has some front end damage and going down pit road. And unfortunately, we've lost our one more driver, the 15 of Christian Swenson, retiring for the evening.
Yeah, it's looking like Ian Lane. He came in the pits for something, and said his car got stuck. It wouldn't do any repair. It would let him out.
Oh man, yep, Ian Lane, rough night for him, being shown 133 laps down in the 23rd place spot behind the 17 of Jerome Berthome.
I don't know if an iRacing glitch or something, but yeah, he couldn't get back out of the pits. So basically got stuck in there. Like some guys are still in the pits, though. They might have got a 30-minute damage, but sometimes it pays to just sit around, get it fixed, and come out and make a couple laps, and might get a few spots back.
Oh, absolutely, man, because that does help them a lot as well, in the points standings, and everybody here trying to get themselves locked into the chase, or at least be among the drivers who will get considered for the chase if they don't lock themselves in by getting a win. So a lot is on the line when it comes to thinking about the chase, Eddie.
Yep, that's right. Every point counts. I think they made the chase last year only by 2 points.
Oh man, I'm sure that was very heartbreaking for you, man, but that was a job well done, regardless.
Yeah, this year they got more races in the chase and a different format, which last year was our first time trying it. So yeah, this year it's going to be a lot better. The points get reset, after like 3 races. So yeah, it's going to be quite exciting here at the end. You're not going to know who's going to win it until the last race.
Oh, absolutely, and yes, a very, very also a longer season this season here with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. 20 races in total, so a lot needs to be accomplished by the drivers, with a total of 7 chase races to come, starting July 8th being chase race 1 held at Daytona.
Yeah, we actually did quite a few changes this year. We're now following the iRacing schedule. Since we run open setups, that gives everybody opportunity to run some official open races, and use official practices for setups.
Oh, that's amazing right there. The drivers talked about a lot in the interviews last season about how that's going to become easier for them because they'll be able to practice in official races before they come to these races on Sunday nights. But the green flag has flown. We are green flag racing, being led by Regan Jr. And now 51 of Youngkins trying to hold off 88 of Smallwood and the 5 of Whitaker, who are side by side.
Yeah, he's still running that low line. He must like that low line down there. We'll just say how long his tires last by doing it.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's been running that low lane for this long. Oh man, contact between the 5 of Whitaker and Smallwood. He cut him off, and that did cause some contact. Or actually, it was going to be he was trying to do the crossover move. That was Whitaker against Smallwood, but that did not work. And now Smallwood is trying to go against the Youngkins, but did not have enough to do it, so he just backed off.
Yeah, he decided to come up in the high line once he got by, but he didn't quite have the momentum that the 5 did.
And the new driver. Go ahead.
79, he's sure been hanging in there all night. He's still running top 5.
Yeah, he's been keeping a low profile there in the top 10, though. Just trying to buy his time, not forcing any matters. Same as the 8 of Stephen Aguiar, who is still in the 6th place spot, still in the top 10, and just buying his time as well. And now he has behind him the 99 of Brandon Walter, and the caution flies.
Caution is hell.
It's going to be the 00 Kyle Souza and James O'Brien there, as Kyle Souza almost saved it. Unfortunately, James O'Brien had nowhere to go, got into him, and basically Kyle Souza was not able to save it, and that was going to bring out another caution here with 77 laps to go.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Kyle Souza and the 9 of James O'Brien. Getting a piece of that action, unfortunately. Oh yeah, looks like Souza off the exit of turn number 4 exited way too low, and that shot his machine leftward.
Some of them came inside the commitment code and went back out. I don't know if that's black flag them or not. I know you can't go outside of it and come in, but we'll see what happens.
Yep. Worst case scenario, they'll be receiving the end of the line penalty as a result of that. Hopefully that's not the case. But up front here, 22 of Richard Regan still in the race lead. Joseph Youngkin second, Daniel Smallwood third, Kevin Whitaker fourth, and Stephen Aguiar fifth. And also, you talked about some changes to the this season there, Eddie. I was going to talk about this. We have something called the Transdo Cup. That's TRNSDO Cup. Basically, Transdo Transport and Logistics. My accent, I apologize. That's Transdo Transport and Logistics is going to be giving the safest driver this season, the driver with the cleanest driving record, 75 USD. And that's a lot of motivation to get the job done there, Eddie.
Yeah, that's just another thing that, the league come up with is we try to promote, the safest drive, and we want as clean as races we can get. That's just another incentive for you got the least amount of incidents, then then you win that cup there. We have an incident level. We're only allowed so many incident points for so many races before you get, you either get suspended a race, but if you got clean races, you also lose incident points. So that's kind of how we self-police. We don't give out penalties and stuff like that for race. It's just everybody polices themselves, and that's how we do it.
Oh, copy that. Well, this Transdo Cup definitely is something. Someone's going to receive this by the end of the season, ladies and gentlemen. So to qualify for this, the driver must complete 16 of the 20 races. At the same time, they must complete 75% of the distance of each race in order for it to be able to count.
Yeah, you got to make it fair. I mean, if somebody does only 4 races, they're going to have least incidents, aren't they? So, yeah, you're going to do a minimum amount of laps and a minimum amount of races to be in it. And I'm sure there will be quite a few at the end. It's going to be, it's going to be pretty close between drivers.
Oh, absolutely. And we are now back 1 to green, still being led by Richard Regan. Joseph Youngkins beside him in second place. We have Daniel Smallwood third, Kevin Whitaker fourth, and Chris Perez in the 5th place spot. Chris Perez coming out of nowhere with a very, very beat up machine, but he is still here. Exiting turn number 3, pace car dips off, and 22 of Richard finds the gas pedal. 51 of Joseph did jump the start a little bit and had to back off. And as a result, he gets overtaken by the 5 of Kevin Whitaker, and that bumps him down to 3rd.
Yeah, he got a really good start. I'm sure on their team channel, they knew when everybody's going to go. So sometimes you get a little antsy.
Absolutely, but he was able to give that back before risking getting penalized. And now here the inside line behind him, we have the 88 of Smallwood, who is trying to still make some moves, but he ended up falling short and is now in 5th place behind 79 of Joshua Witherspoon.
Yeah, I can't believe Josh is running a really good race. He's hanging right with.
Yep, as it creeps up to the rear end of 51 of Youngkins. Now to the inside of Youngkins, trying to make a move on the inside, get around Youngkins off the exit of turn number 4. Oh.
Ooh, he got a little loose there.
Yep, he was able to save it though, despite that.
Yeah, he's pushing it pretty hard. I mean, actually, we only got, 67 laps to go, so it's winding down.
Absolutely. At this point, these drivers know exactly what to expect when it comes to the handling of these machines in the short run and the long run. So they're able to use that to their advantage and also use that against each other because they have been able to observe each other this far. They know each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses for the most part.
Yeah, if we get no more cautions, this will be the last step here. So you either try to save your stuff, or if you think another caution's come out, you can run it hard.
And further back in the pack, we have the 9 of James O'Brien behind the 14 of Poe D. Johnson. And so far, Poe D. Johnson gets a good run against the 8 of Aguiar. Off the exit of turn 4 is going to make it stick. Looks like it's not close enough to make it work. And still rides single foul as the 8 of Aguiar tries his best to keep that spot.
Yeah, Stevens actually, they're starting to pull in that top 5 there. Make it an 8 car field.
Yep, a lot of amazing single foul going on. I say amazing single foul. It's like a snake effect. It looks amazing. 14 of Johnson here using a different race groove than the 8 of Aguiar. Yeah, different race lines here going on all race long. 2 teammates, Johnson and James O'Brien, finding each other. 7th and 8th.
Yeah, Steve looks to be going in the corner pretty hard. But they're coming out the corners pretty even. I think Steve and Paul and Dave just kind of been like hanging out a little bit, trying to stay out of trouble. I think they're faster than what they did running. Like Steve banged the wall there kind of hard.
Oh, yep, same with 14 of Poe D. Johnson. Johnson's damage on the right side got a little bit worse. And here the 8 of Aguiar goes against the 88 of Daniel Smallwood. Smallwood side by side off the exit of the turn. Looks like Aguiar got loose, and that kept 88 of Smallwood ahead.
Yeah, it's so hard to pass down there low.
And I should admit, it's looking like Smallwood is having some difficulty this far in the race.
Yeah, I think, his car seems to get out of the gate, really quick, but then, after 20, 30 laps,
oh man,
Steve got together.
Yeah, and Steve got very squirrely. Yep, and that gives Smallwood some front end damage. 8 of Aguiar, our rear end damage, but still rolling.
Yeah, Paul had to check up too. James 5, but yeah, it's you're going to see Steven Aguiar. He's like this. He likes to hide out a little bit. Comes into the race, watch out, he's there.
And a victim here so far, Daniel Smallwood of the outside wall. Last lap is trying to play catch up, getting overtaken by the 9 of O'Brien and the 14 of Poe D. Johnson. So far he's trying to hang on to it, but having no luck. Looks like it's getting worse before it gets better for him. 99 of Brennan Walter now next in line behind him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
Oh, looks like your mic cut out there, Eddie.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm wondering if the 88 only took 2 tires on that last pit stop. He could hang with the leaders a lot longer before, and he's pulling back pretty quick.
Oh, yep, most likely the case. Oh, yep. Yeah, as we speak here, he's still trying to keep up and playing catch up at the exact same time. And 64 of Michael Knight in the 10th place spot, being shown 3.7 seconds behind the race leaders. And his next victim is the 99 of Brandon Walter. We had the 59 of Brendan Chatley, who was on the inside, letting all the fast. Actually, just left pit road as we spoke. 11 laps down. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with 50 laps left in tonight's race and 201 laps complete, I'm going to take a final commercial break this time around. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the AMS Oil American Iracing Sunday series by the PRL. That's Precision Racing League. And check out AMS Oil at amsoil.com, specializing in synthetic lubricants for vehicles and equipment. And they are the first in synthetics, that is amsoil.com. Then this is round number 2 of 20 Precision Racing League American Iracing Sunday series, brought to you by AMS Oil. Well, ladies and gentlemen, going back to tonight's race, we are under caution. That caution involved Brandon Chatley, 59, and the 64 of Michael Knight making some contact. And that giving us 36 laps remaining in the race at the time, but now 34 laps remaining. It's going to be quite the shootout to come to the end. But we are being led by 22 of Richard Regan, Kevin Whitaker second, Stephen Aguiar third, Joseph Yankins fourth, and Daniel Smallwood in the 5th place position. Well, it's going to be a wild one. Eddie?
Yeah, it's going to be a really good shootout. You got all 4 Gen X guys up front. I told you, watch out for Steven. He likes to just hang out most of the race, and he's up to 3rd here at the end. So it's going to be a good shootout. I'm sure it's going to be good, clean racing because they're all teammates.
Absolutely.
But you still got James O'Brien. I mean, you still got, the 79 running really well. So it's not over yet.
Yeah, and also for the back of the pack, we have 911 of John LaBaffe. LaBaffe so far being shown 6 laps down. He had some bad luck there early on and in the middle of the race. So far, he's just trying to take what he can, basically hoping to get those laps back. But we talked about how difficult it is to get your laps back here at Bristol. And we have 95 of Jeffrey Ford. Jeffrey Ford, the first and only driver, 1 lap down in the 14th place spot. Behind the 64 of Michael Knight. So at this point, we have only 13 drivers on the lead lap. That's 13 drivers on the lead lap, and everybody else 1 or more laps down.
It's going to get exciting now. Everybody's going to go for broke.
Oh, yep, it is go time, ladies and gentlemen. And now we have a 31-lap shootout coming up. That's 31-lap shootout coming up. Still being led by Regan. The pace car dips off, and Regan finds the gas pedal immediately, and he gets a great restart against the 5 of Whitaker. And Whitaker trying to hold off the 51 of Yankins already as we speak.
Stephen didn't get a very good restart. Starting over on the inside.
Oh, yep, he went from 3rd place to 5th place in 1 lap. Actually, now bumped down to 6th.
That inside line's so hard to hold flat out going into 1, where if you're on the outside line, almost pretty much flat out.
Oh yeah, so the outside line is a place to be on starts and restarts. That explains a lot as to why everybody, all the leaders most of the time, have been deciding to start on the outside and not the inside line. Here in the second place spot, actually behind the 8 of Aguiar, we have the 9 of James O'Brien. James O'Brien back from the dead and trying to make his presence known in the rear view of Aguiar.
Yeah, he's been hanging around there about 8th place most of the night. I think just biding his time. He's been caught up in a couple other people's stuff, but he's always fast, so you never count him out.
Yep, and behind O'Brien is the 99 of Brandon Walter. We didn't see Brandon Walter for the first half of the race, but then after that he appeared in the top 10 from nowhere. And ever since then, we haven't been able to get rid of him, and as we speak so far, just pretty much buying his time on the inside as he gets passed by the 00 of Kyle Souza. And not too long ago, he got overtaken by the 14 of Poe D. Johnson. Now he's being shown in the 10th place spot with 25 laps left.
Yeah, Road Trip Racing was running 7th, 8th, and 9th. I think they kind of like riding around with each other, too. Yeah, just biding their time. Paul's still doing a pretty good job. I think he's just got too much damage to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, but he's still driving the crap out of that machine. It is showing. He's going to apologize to those tires later on. And also we have the 81 of Seth Silverio. Don't count Seth out just yet. He is still in the top 10. Actually, 11th place, one spot away from the top 10. And the driver blocking him out of the top 10 is the 99 of Brandon Walter as he catches up to him at a fast rate.
Yeah, he's had a rough night, but he's hung in there. If we can get a top 10 out of it, I think he'd be happy with that.
Yeah, because last time we talked about the 81 of Seth, he was in the 16th place spot. We talked about how he might be able, or most likely will be able, to get a top 10 if he keeps doing exactly what he's been doing. And now it goes to the inside of 99 of Walter for the top 10. But Walter edges him out for now.
Yeah, we're going to get battle for the lead here.
Yep, up front, side by side, Whitaker and Regan going at it. Regan on the outside, Whitaker on the inside. So far, the driver with the better race groove is Regan on the outside.
Yeah, outside the preferred line, but if you got a really good handling car, I mean, you can go low too. But it's hard to maintain it down there.
Yep, Kevin almost pulling it off, but the slingshot is working against him of Kevin Regan as Regan is pulling on the 51 of Joseph Yankins. At this point, Eddie Yankins is just pretty much, he's trying to figure out which lane to go to.
Yeah, you just kind of got to follow, whatever one you think is going to prevail. But still, I mean, you're still running the high line for now. And if you see that, the 5 is going to get it, you might want to duck down there too, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, because there's a big risk involved in that, in picking out which lane is going to be more successful, or which line in this case. Because if he's not careful, like you said, the driver behind him, namely Josh Witherspoon, might be able to benefit from his bad choice in this case and get around him. But the driver is still going at it. Whitaker and Regan not giving up.
And you got 2 really good drivers side by side. It's hard to do here at Bristol, not get loose and get up into them. But, after a while, like I said, it just eats your tires up trying to stay that low line. It's hard to do. A good driver can do it, though.
Yeah, but Whitaker has had enough.
Spinning. Looks like the caution didn't come out.
Oh, yep, the 8 of Aguiar.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, he's under speed here, trying to play catch-up, getting back up to speed. Yeah, that incident occurred entering turn number 1. Oh, it was contact between the 8 of Aguiar and 79 of Witherspoon.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Steve was on the move. I know he didn't spin himself out, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, but nice save by Aguiar, keeping us green flag racing. And we're going to be seeing still the drivers up front trying to go at it. Oh, man, 22 of Regan being challenged by the 5 of Whitaker still as they get around the 95 of Ford. 11 laps left, the 10 to go mark coming up. Yes, finally 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go, I say finally, because now the gloves are officially off.
Yeah, everybody's going to be pushing for what they get, but we'll just see if the 5 saved enough tire to make another run at it. He's trying. He's looking underneath him.
Yep, they're going back again side by side, and 22 over Regan as well, maintaining the outside line. They're gonna stay side by side as Kevin almost taps the apron there. That could have been ugly, but he saves it. And for the back in the pack, some more side by side between James O'Brien and Kyle Souza going at it for the 6th place position. Both drivers having one thing in common, and that's that they both have some heavy damage on the machines. And now we have the 81 of Seth Silverio in this mix. Ooh, speaking of Silverio able to crack the top 10 finally again.
Yeah, it looks like the number 5 got by. It's see how this plays out.
Yeah, new race leader 5. 4 laps to go. That means one thing, ladies and gentlemen. The next flag ends the race. 88 of Daniel Smallwood, 79 of Witherspoon, side by side. They almost make contact off turn 4, but no harm done. Still rolling side by side. 88 of Smallwood able to get around Witherspoon successfully, and Witherspoon trying to go to his insides to do the crossover move, but did not have enough room or time to make it stick. So just single file for now.
Yeah, it looks like Kevin's now he's pulling away a little bit too. So it looks like it's his race to lose.
Oh, yep, and the white flag is now out. The white flag is out. The final lap of the evening. We have the Kevin Whitaker with an 8/10 of a second lead against 22 of Richard Regan Jr. And off turn number 4, Kevin brings this thing home unchallenged. Richard brings it home second place. Joseph Youngkins third. Daniel Smallwood fourth. And Joshua Witherspoon in the 5th place spot, rounding up the top 5. What a heck of a race.
Yeah, that was a really good race. I mean, like I said, the PRL, they put on some pretty good shows. I think tonight was one of, for a short track, you're going to have some cautions, but we had some really good racing. Good side-by-side racing for the lead there.
Absolutely, and also have some interviews coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Whitaker, Richard Regan Jr., and Joseph Youngkins, so please stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, join up in the booth. We have the tonight's race winner. This is Kevin Whitaker, who was last week's winner as well for the season opener at Texas Motor Speedway with the Gen X Racing Team. You come up there, Kevin?
10-4.
How are you tonight?
Not too bad. I'm a little bit sweaty because that was intense, but yeah. How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good, but most likely not as good as you are, because that was a heck of a show on your part tonight. And last week, back-to-back success. What was your secrets tonight, man? Because a lot of drivers had some trouble with looseness and tightness.
Yeah, I was battling a little bit tight all race, but I would just have this little line that I keep running up by the wall. It seems to conserve the tires a little bit better.
And towards the very end, Kevin, we noticed that you were on the inside of Richard Regan, who was not backing off, and neither were you. You were side by side for about 10-15 laps. How were you able to still stay side by side? And basically, how were you able to save your tires while side by side like that for so long?
Honestly, I wish I knew the answer to that, but I don't. I just, tried to stay with them, but save tires as much as I could, and paid off.
Oh, copy that, man. Well, congrats on the success here tonight and last week at Texas Motor Speedway. And it is great having you as a new addition to the PRL American iRacing Sunday series. We look forward to seeing more of you, and most importantly, we look forward to seeing you in the same spot next week at Richmond International. Hopefully, you're going to find words before I let you go.
I just want to thank Gen X Racing. It's a great team to be a part of. We work extremely well together, week after week. AMSOIL, obviously, for coming on board, and OSRN for broadcasting. So, yeah, that's about it.
Well, congrats on your success there, and we look forward to seeing you again next week at Richmond. Have a good night and go celebrate.
Thank you.
That was Gen X Racing driver Kevin Whitaker, and tonight's race winner and last week's winner too. But next in line is second place driver Richard Regan, and I believe Eddie was able to get a hold of him.
Yeah, Richard, you got a copy?
10-4, got you loud and clear.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on that second place finish there. That battle between you and your teammate there at the end, I don't know how he got you underneath there, but boy, you ran a heck of a race. You want to tell us a little about it?
Yeah, man, that car was just hooked up there on the short run. Kevin had a really quick car on the long run compared to me, but so I knew all I had to do. I had to give it all that I had to hold him off there at the end, but yeah, I overdrove the entry there a little bit, and he just started getting me. But awesome race all around.
Yeah, you and your teammates, all of you. I mean, that was a really good race. Did you guys come in with any kind of team plan or anything like that, or was it just everybody out there to survive for yourself?
Well, I mean, the team plan is for everybody to finish up front, basically stay up front, and then, I mean, there's really no team plan or team orders or anything. It's just have at it. Yeah,
well, y'all ran pretty well. It's a shame Steve got taken out there toward the end there because you guys were, I think, first through fourth. But yeah, that was a really good show. And you got anybody you want to thank or?
Yeah, I gotta thank everybody. Out? Yeah, I gotta thank everybody at Gen X Racing. They put a ton of hours into these cars, fast cars every week. Can't thank them enough. And also I have to thank AMSOIL for coming on board this season to sponsor the PRL series and Gen X Racing, and obviously you guys at OSRN for broadcasting PRL.
All right, yeah, well, congratulations. It's good to see Gen X back here in the PRL. You guys put on one heck of a show.
Thank you.
That was second place finisher, 22 of Regan, Gen X driver. But next in line is the Gen X2 driver. This is Joseph Yankins, tonight's post-hitter. Get a cup there, Joseph.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. How are you doing, man?
Good. That was a fun race there.
Oh, indeed it was. And Joseph, you had one of the fastest machines, if not the fastest machine on the track, it seemed like, there early on for the first half of the race. You were very, very unstoppable pretty much all race long tonight. What was your secret?
Saving that right front. Towards the end there, I started falling. I just drove it a little bit too hard in entry and killed the tire. But congratulations to Kevin. It's 2 wins in a row. And thanks Gen X Racing and AMSOIL.
And Joseph, there's something tells me this is not the last we see of you being successful, basically. And what are your expectations for next upcoming race at Richmond next week?
More Gen X dominance. That's what I expect.
Oh, copy that, brother. Oh, congrats on your success here tonight there, Joseph, and fully eager to final words. Oh, that was Gen X driver 51 of Joseph Yankins, and that rounds up interviews. Kevin Whitaker, Richard Regan Jr., and Joseph Yankins. So Kevin Whitaker and Richard Regan from Gen X Racing, and 51 of Joseph Yankins with the Gen X2 team here with the PRL American iRacing Sunday series. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight here for round number 2 of 20. PRL American iRacing Sunday series brought to you by AMSOIL.com. And we had a special guest tonight, 45 of Eddie Hawks from last season. Always a pleasure. I had a blast up here with him in the online Sim Racing Network booth. How are you feeling after that race there, Eddie?
I want to get down and get in the car if I could, but I quite enjoyed it. It was fun, and I appreciate you guys letting me come up here and helping out a little bit.
Absolutely, man. It was great having you. And I look forward to seeing more of you up here in the booth with us in the Online Sim Racing Network in the next upcoming races. And Dave, any thoughts?
That was a fun race. Can't wait to see what happens next week.
And speaking of next week, ladies and gentlemen, is round number 3. Round 3 at Richmond International Raceway for 200 laps. So be sure to be there. It's going to be a heck of a race as well. We're going to be seeing a lot of side-by-side and we had a lot of beat-up cars tonight due to just how technical this track is for the drivers out there. It just might be the exact same case next week, but that track is a lot more forgiving than Bristol. So thanks for tuning in here tonight. Look forward to seeing you again next week for round number 3. And once again, check out AMSoil.com, the Season 9 sponsor of the PRL American Iracing Sunday series. They do specialize in synthetic lubricants for vehicles and equipment. They are the first in synthetics. That's AMSoil.com. I am Sean Zulu, David Everly behind the cameras, and Eddie Hawks, our special guest tonight. Have a good night and a good week.